Nice.
Very cool. Well, more than 6 million people in the U.S. have Alzheimer's disease. It is the most common form of dementia.
And the FDA has now cleared the first blood test to help diagnose Alzheimer's.
And the death of actress Diane Keaton is putting the spotlight as well on the dangers of pneumonia. We have UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff here for his weekly visit.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, thanks so much for coming.
Yeah,
First, let's start with the blood test for Alzheimer's. That's pretty tremendous. How does this work?
Yeah, I think we've got two now. So what these blood tests do is they look for markers that are associated with Alzheimer. The one that we're not talking about today looks at a ratio between tau protein, which is part of Alzheimer's disease, and amyloid. This one that we're talking about looks at a different kind of form of tau protein. And these tests aren't perfect yet. So if you get these tests and you have a positive result, it doesn't mean that you have Alzheimer's. Maybe it doesn't mean you're going to get Alzheimer's. But where they're seeing some value is if you get this test and you have a negative result, at least at that moment in time, it's really unlikely that Alzheimer's is what's causing your symptoms, which is great, because if you anchor on Alzheimer's and there's something else causing it, you might not go looking for it. So I think it helps doctors that way. With time, I think we could see a panel of blood tests that maybe does get us a little bit closer to being able to say, hey, you probably don't have Alzheimer's, maybe you do, and then we can reserve some of those, more expensive, harder to get tests for people more likely to actually benefit from them.
Yeah, because those tests, like you said, they're expensive, and that can decrease someone's access to them.
Right, and I mean, they're expensive, and even if you have insurance, like access to all these tests nowadays is pretty tricky. So if you're, you're someone, loved one has this, and now it's, a couple month wait to get a test like that, that's not great either. A blood test you can get done next week is probably nice.
And that is a good question. Is it available now? This blood test.
This blood test. So it's technically available in the fact that the FDA approved it. It will take a little while to work its way through. Is insurance going to cover it? Do machines actually have the ability to do it? I think this could be like a Roche test, but so eventually yes. Right now, today, probably not.
Okay. The other topic, we lost Diane Keaton to bacterial pneumonia. That's just come out. I have some experience with this, but first, what is bacterial pneumonia?
Yeah, so bacterial pneumonia is when you get an infection in the lungs, typically the alveoli where oxygen exchange happens, and it's by bacteria. Most common one is strep pneumoniae. There's, the pneumonia shot people talk about, but there's a lot of other ones. For a lot of people that can sometimes be self-limited, like you have a productive cough, typically a fever, you don't feel very good. Some people, young people, could recover on their own. Some people need antibiotics. Some people, though, that bacteria will either make it impossible for you to breathe, so you need to be on a ventilator, or it gets out of the lung into your blood, and then it can cause sepsis. It can cause other organs to shut down, and that's where we typically see people passing away from pneumonia, is because they got septic.
Yeah.
So it could be that maybe a healthy person can get pneumonia but not treated soon enough. I think that's what everybody's wondering
Yeah, there's a
about.
couple scenarios. So typically, young healthy folks, even if they got pneumonia, like a college kid gets pneumonia, they might not even get real sick if they don't get treated. Their immune system might knock it away. Most people who have pneumonia, say on a chest X-ray, we're going to treat them with antibiotics. Most people will get better. Once you're over the age of 65, or let's say you have some comorbid conditions, COPD is one that's not great, a history of alcohol use isn't good, there's some things that make you more at risk, immunocompromised folks. Those folks can very quickly go from pneumonia to sepsis, get very sick, and you got to be quick on the throttle to get those folks treated.
We lost my mom last year, and it's still hard to talk about, but I want to share this so maybe it will help someone else. It started as a cold, that she thought she had a cold, and she was not one to make a big deal out of things, and she was on chemo for breast cancer.
Yeah.
It escalated very quickly, and we didn't know until it was too late.
Yeah.
Is there a window where someone who is on chemo, or anyone, can get this treated in time?
Yeah, I think certainly if you're on chemo or you're a transplant patient, like the threshold to get it checked out needs to be exceedingly low. So, if you're on chemo and all of a sudden you're developing a cough, I'd be a little bit worried. Certainly if you're on chemo, you have a cough and now you just popped a fever, it's game over. You've got to get in. Because unlike a healthy person who maybe has a couple of days, you might be looking at hours. So you need to get in. Emergency departments are happy to see you for that. And if we get treatment started early, we can save a life. Whereas sometimes hours can be the difference between making it and not.
Listen to your bodies, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh boy, thank you, Dr. Jeff Potoff,
Thank you
as
very
always,
much.
for being here. Appreciate it.